This is the Rebel Call channel. Welcome to today's show. A lot of people have shared this with me over on the website about a startup that's claiming they have created artificial intelligence head transplant system. Now, some people are out there saying that this isn't real, but just the fact that this is even a concept in today's world, this is what AI is capable of doing. These are the ways they try to market AI as something we need. Because, of course, we all need head transplants, right? Now, we've seen a lot of predictive programming over the years, literally, with rich, famous people like Walt Disney freezing their heads in jars. Well, I guess it was all for procedures like the one I'm about to show you, because this company posted a video on YouTube, and they're dead serious about this procedure. Scientists put their heads together for an insane medical breakthrough. Neuroscience and biomedical engineering startup called BrainBridge announced that it has created an AI mechanized system for performing head transplants. The procedure would graft a head onto the body of a brain dead donor, which means that we've got a lot of people they could choose from walking around in today's world who are already brain dead. But it maintains the memories, they claim, cognitive abilities, and consciousness of the transplanted individual. The researchers believe the innovative surgery would help patients with untreatable conditions like paralysis, certain cancers, as well as neurological diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And you're going to continue to hear Parkinson's, Alzheimer's. They're not going to tell you why so many people are suffering from Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, because what people would have to do is look at those towers around them as well as the soft metals getting dumped on them on a day in, day out basis. But they don't expect you to ask why so many people continue to suffer from neurological diseases. They just tell you that, hey, thanks to AI, we'll be able to solve all of these problems that we're creating in the first place so that you could do things like get a head transplant. So this is parts of the video uploaded to their YouTube channel. I kid you not. This is directly from BrainBridge's YouTube channel. And again, they're a startup company who's looking to do this to people, and we're not supposed to be creeped out.
Introducing BrainBridge, the world's first revolutionary concept for a head transplant machine, which uses state-of-the-art robotics and artificial intelligence to conduct complete head and face transplantation procedures, ensuring smooth outcomes and faster recoveries. Because head transplants require high speed, precision, and efficiency, BrainBridge utilizes advanced high-speed, high-precision robotic systems to speed up the process, eliminate human error, prevent brain cell degradation, and ensure seamless compatibility. The head transplant procedure involves removing a person's entire head containing the brain from their current diseased body and attaching it to the body of a healthy, young, brain-dead donor. Head transplants could provide individuals with severe medical conditions such as terminal cancer, paralysis, spinal cord injuries, or neurodegenerative diseases the opportunity to have a fully functional body while preserving their consciousness, memories, and cognitive abilities. The neurons are the longest-lasting functional cells in the human body, and according to our estimates, the brain is capable of lasting several hundred years, provided that the rest of the body remains young. The BrainBridge concept involves the use of the integrated robotics platform comprised of the two autonomous surgical robots, designed to perform simultaneous surgeries on two bodies side by side within a single setup. The complete robotization of the process allows for the surgery to be performed in an environment with varying temperature and pressure. The procedure begins by preparing the donor and recipient bodies. The donor is a brain-dead patient who has a functional body with vital organs in good condition, while the recipient is the patient whose head will be transplanted onto the new body. General anesthesia is administered to both the recipient and the donor. Both patients undergo tracheotomy, with a tube inserted into the trachea to provide respiratory support and facilitate mechanical ventilation. Our proprietary artificial plasma solution is administered to both the recipient and the donor. This solution is designed to keep the brain and body oxygenated, prevent clotting, and allow for safe operation at low temperatures. The recipient's head and the donor body are cooled to approximately 5 degrees Celsius to reduce potential brain damage during the detachment. Guided by advanced real-time molecular-level imaging systems, BrainBridge carefully separates the heads from the two bodies with the help of a specialized surgical technique that preserves the spinal cord and key blood vessels. Deep incisions are carefully made around the neck to expose the necessary structures, including the carotid and vertebral arteries, jugular veins, and spine. With the help of specialized AI algorithms, BrainBridge tracks both muscles and nerves during surgery to facilitate seamless reattachment. Next, incisions are made in the trachea, esophagus, veins, and arteries. The blood is then completely drained from the recipient's head to prevent clotting. The recipient's head is then positioned adjacent to the donated body using a mobile platform. BrainBridge immediately connects the detached head to the circulatory system of the donor body, which helps maintain blood flow during the rest of the procedure. It also re-warms the recipient's head and provides it with oxygenated blood. With the help of its ultra-precision surgical instruments, BrainBridge begins reconnecting the spinal cord, esophagus, trachea, nerves, blood vessels, and other tissues. This step facilitates communication between the brain and the new body. The machine utilizes microsurgery techniques and delicate microscopic adjustments to ensure the proper alignment and fusion of the spinal cord and other tissues. To help reconnect the severed neurons, BrainBridge uses a proprietary chemical adhesive, polyethylene glycol, which is applied locally to the spine at the point of fusion. Once the spinal cord is connected, a specialized implant is placed in the epidural space behind the spine over the point of fusion. This implant promotes the repair of damaged neurons and allows the patient's brain to form neural connections with the new body and ensures that the sensory system is restored. It also functions as a temporary backup control device for the donor body. The next step of the operation is a face and scalp transplant where all the muscles, soft tissues, and skin are removed from the recipient's face. The donor's face, muscles, and soft tissues are then precisely transplanted in their place. By transplanting younger donor tissues, the procedure reduces the probability of tissue rejection and offers potential for aesthetic enhancement, particularly in cases where the donor is significantly younger than the recipient. It also restores functionality and structural integrity to the recipient's face and rejuvenates its appearance. BrainBridge then carefully sutures the skin to conceal the complex rewiring beneath the surface. The skin is then treated with a special spray that contains growth factors, anti-fibrotics, and antibiotics. This spray promotes faster skin healing, prevents infections, and reduces scarring in the sutured area. Finally, immunosuppressive drugs are administered to prevent the recipient's immune system from rejecting the donor body. After the surgery, the recipient is carefully monitored in an intensive care unit and is kept in a coma for up to 4 weeks to prevent movement or misalignment of the connected body parts. During this time, the head, neck, and spine are firmly stabilized to optimize the fusion of the spinal cord. Life support systems are utilized to regulate breathing and circulation, while nutrition is delivered through a jejunostomy feeding tube. Gradually, the recipient's brain should regain control over the new body. As the recovery process advances and the patient regains mobility, there will be a need for extensive rehabilitation, physical therapy, and psychological support to help the recipient adapt to their new body and regain motor functions. BrainBridge Headband, which is equipped with a brain-computer interface, will allow the patient to communicate their needs during recovery. Thanks to the power of thought, the headband decodes brainwaves and turns them into text or speech. It could allow the patient to control other devices directly from their brain, granting them the autonomy to execute specific tasks independently throughout their recovery journey. Because of the complexity and unexpected challenges of the head transplant procedure, self-learning algorithms allow BrainBridge to avoid errors and adapt surgical plans in real time, depending on the surgery's needs. It can also improve its capabilities over time by learning from previous surgeries. Learning algorithms can recall past procedures and outcomes to continually refine and enhance surgical techniques and post-operative care. While the surgery is being conducted, The BrainBridge algorithm creates a personalized recovery plan depending on the progress of the procedure and the needs of the patient. To maximize compatibility and ensure seamless integration, we collaborate with the top experts in generative artificial intelligence, brain-to-computer interfaces, and robotics, with multiple successful projects and hundreds of high-profile peer-reviewed research papers. Over the past few years, we developed the end-to-end approach which accounts for every single detail, including immune compatibility, brain-body connectivity, replacement of the visual and olfactory systems, and post-operative rehabilitation. BrainBridge, breathing life into new bodies, one head at a time.
So in the name of science, of course, you can cut people's heads off and replace them on human bodies. Remember, you're not supposed to question science. So even science like this, where we would all say this shouldn't be allowed to exist, this is disturbing and frightening, it's science, right? So we're supposed to look at it and say, hey, it's going to help somebody with Parkinson's, just like the brain chip and Neuralink are going to help people with Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. And we're not allowed to ask questions because these people just care about a small percentage of people. Then, of course, eventually, I'm saying a small percentage of people who have these problems, they're telling us that this science and this type of technology is needed for them, but eventually this will be marketed to everybody. Because just like I talked about with the Neuralink, they're going to come out and tell people that, well, the Neuralink can actually make, now we don't have to think about people with Parkinson's and other disabilities. The Neuralink will make you a superhuman person. If you have depression or anxiety, don't worry about it. The Neuralink will help. If you're having trouble thinking throughout the day and you're having attention span problems, the Neuralink will make sure that you could focus better. And people will fall for it hook, line, and sinker, but they'll never ask the question of why they're suffering from a lot of these problems, why anxiety and depression are so high, because they're hitting us with radiation around the clock. And even people like me who do my very best, and I know the majority of you do your best too, to try and avoid this, they make it nearly impossible for us to avoid their frequencies because they're constantly hitting us with these frequencies, and we constantly see them disguising these towers that they're putting up, whether it's a rural area and they're trying to disguise it and make it look like a tree, or if it's just going down the highway every 100 yards or so, we see these things just sitting in the middle of the road. And again, the more you see it, the more desensitized you become to it, which I always talk about with the electrical grid. We see giant electrical power grids all around us, but we don't even notice them anymore. But if you flew in from the year 1700 in a time machine and you saw those things, you go, whoa, look at all this stuff, right? But as time elapses, you become used to it. You don't even see that it's there. And that's what they expected with these big towers. And that's exactly what's happened, because you don't hear anybody questioning it. You don't hear anybody wondering about the dangers of it. They just trust in the people who built it and put it out there. And we're supposed to all be okay with it because we could download music faster. So they claim, even though nobody has seen the effects of that. So this might start off where they try to market this as far as Parkinson's, etc. But you could see where this is headed. Don't like your head, right? Weren't born with the perfect head. You don't like the way you look? Get a head transplant, right? Go ahead, get a head transplant. That's the way that this will go. And they'll say, so what? So what, man? Get with the times. I mean, the amount of gore that they've normalized in our society, it's very frightening, right? We see just how often they're showing us gore. I mean, I just did a video about a wrestler who had a bloodbath on TV. And you would think that people would see that and they'd be like, holy crap, that's pretty disgusting. Why are they doing that in professional wrestling on a television in the middle of a ring for the whole world to see? What does that have to do with, dressing up in your underwear, putting baby oil on, and pretending to fight each other? Well, it has nothing to do with it. But you become so desensitized to it, it's just normal now. Oh, it's just blood. It's just blood, right? There was a time where people were like, whoa, I don't want to see, maybe squeamish. I don't want to see blood. Now we got open decapitations and head transplants, and we're all supposed to just go, yep, this is for science, right? So Hasham Al-Ghali, the scientist behind the project, said that the research has been evaluated by experts across multiple related fields. The goal of our tech is to push the boundaries of what is possible in medical science and provide innovative solutions for those battling life-threatening conditions. Again, that's the way it's always going to be marketed. Our technology promises to open doors for life-saving treatments that were unimaginable just a few years ago. BrainBridge plans to utilize surgical robots and artificial intelligence to reconstruct facial feature for full facial muscle use. The process employs advanced high-speed robotic systems to prevent brain cell degradation and ensure seamless compatibility, Brain Bridge said in a statement. The entire procedure is guided by real-time molecular level imaging and AI algorithms to facilitate precise reconnection of the spinal cord, nerves, and blood vessels. Brain Bridge claims that the first procedure will be conducted within 8 years. The company said it's publicizing the procedure so far in advance to better attract top scientists to the project. They're doing this to desensitize people, that's why. Brain Bridge, because when they start doing this out in the open, just like the Neuralink. When everybody heard about the Neuralink in the beginning, and they heard about chipping the brain, everybody was like, whoa, no chance, right? Well, now look at it. Not only do we have the first human trial, people are like, oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. This guy has Parkinson's. Now he can walk again. Now he could use telepathy and every other witchcraft means that's presented to him so he could do magic with his mind on his computer. I mean, that's how it works. That's the basic, I can't put it any simpler than that. The time that elapses between them announcing this type of tech to coming out with this tech, it desensitizes people. When they first started doing the after-school Satan program, I remember everybody was in uproar, and they should be. Should have been then, should still be now. But over the last 5 years, it's just popping up in more and more schools. Nothing's being done about it, and people just go, oh, who cares? Who cares now? 5 years ago, they were like, no way we're going to allow this. Now, I'm not saying that there's some people out there that aren't trying to fight it when it pops up in their local school or their town, right? But people just go, well, it's not like anything has come of it. They started 5 years ago. There weren't rituals being done in school, so they think, right? So this thing here, Brain Bridge, just another thing they're going to desensitize people to. And they claim, again, 8 years for the first procedure. They say Brain Bridge says the head transplants are only the beginning in the short term, but they expect the project to result in spinal cord reconstruction breakthrough and whole body transplant. But in the long run, the project will expand into areas that will transform healthcare as we know it, right? Sure, right? Just become transhuman now. Mixing of iron and clay, mixing of man and machine. I mean, people out there hear this stuff and they're like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? Well, when you mix man and machine, you're no longer human. And they've openly talked about this. When they take what God created and they manipulate your genetic code, you aren't a human being anymore. You belong to these people because they're putting technology inside of your body. And they're literally, while they're saying it's artificial intelligence, they're making you an artificial human. So they say that this isn't real, that it's not out yet. But the company is dead serious about doing it and rolling it out. And we know they have the ability to do all sorts of things that we couldn't even imagine with the technology that they have. It's just about getting the public on board. And look at the world around us now. They could come out and say, that they could raise the dead, and people out there would be like, oh, cool, neat. I mean, they're pretty much telling you that stuff with the digital realm, the physical realm, and the spiritual realm. They're just leaving out the word spiritual. But how about all these things I've talked about over the last couple of years with the Alexa, speaking to your dead relatives, the Apple Voice, being able to take someone's voice of somebody who passed many years ago and recreate it. Okay, these are all things that are demonic that they're doing. It's not technology. You just hear the word technology, you're supposed to go, oh, okay, they're just doing this. They're having a good time, right? Nobody thinks about what they're really doing, how all this technology really works. They just go, I don't understand how it works, but it sounds interesting. Yeah, does it? Does becoming demonically possessed sound interesting to you? Well, not to me. I thank everybody for being here. Thanks everybody who was sharing this over on the website. Hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.